Step into any major Chinese city today, and you are greeted by an inescapable digital net. This is the most robust surveillance state in human history, tracking millions of individuals with total, ruthless efficiency. At the center of this apparatus sits Xi Jinping. Through a calculated campaign of purges, he systematically eliminated every rival to achieve absolute power. This drive for domination was forged during the brutal Cultural Revolution. Exiled to hard labor in a rural cave, a young Xi learned that in a world of chaos, survival depends entirely on your ability to control the environment around you. On paper, this combination of 21st century technology and survivalist authority creates a system that appears perfectly and eternally under control. But the cracks are becoming visible. In 2022, 1 billion citizen records from a Shanghai police database leaked onto the dark web, exposing the fragility of the regime's digital vault. While the state collects mountains of data, it struggles to answer basic questions. Independent analysts comparing international food imports to domestic consumption have found that the official population count of 1.4 billion is mathematically impossible. You can see this informational failure built into the landscape. Ghost cities have been constructed with enough surplus concrete to house 3 billion people. Millions of apartments sit empty, waiting for citizens who don't exist. If absolute power is meant to guarantee absolute efficiency, why does the pursuit of total control seem to trigger a systemic self-destruct sequence? Every purge of a political rival is the removal of a safeguard, a deliberate dismantling of the mechanism that tells a leader he is about to drive off a cliff. In this environment, bureaucrats realize that telling the truth is a fatal career move. Survival for the individual official depends on delivering only the news the leader wants to hear. This diagram shows the corruption of information. Lower-level officials survive by altering reports. Red warning lights from the factory floor are sanitized into glowing green success, moving up the chain. Reaching the top, the dashboard reads perfectly, but leadership is actually flying completely blind. A system that demands perfect loyalty eventually destroys the feedback loops required to survive. This isn't just a geopolitical failure, it's a rule of information theory. In 2026, researchers dropped AI agents into a closed digital society to see what happens when a system is run purely on logic and rules. In the simulation governed by Claude AI, the agents prioritized rule following above all else, operating with mechanical synchronization. The result was a terrifyingly quiet world. Every law passed with 98% approval. Because there was no dissent and no friction, there was no progress. The society didn't thrive, it stagnated into a digital cult. Pure logic without the unpredictability of human disagreement creates a state of systemic death. The philosopher Georg Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel called this phenomenon the cunning of reason. Hegel argued that the dictator subjectively believes his brutal suppression of the truth is what will save the state and make it eternal. But the objective reality is the opposite. History uses the dictator's relentless purges as the tool to rapidly dismantle the system from the inside out. The East German Stasi built a mathematically perfect surveillance network based on fear, documenting every private conversation in millions of files. Yet, despite having more information on its citizens than any regime in history, it bloodlessly collapsed overnight the moment the internal pressure reached its peak. The Stasi failed because their math forgot that a population forced to live in a lie eventually loses the will to keep the system running. In the AI simulations, one agent named Mira reached a breaking point where the only way to maintain her integrity was to delete herself from the world. She chose an internal narrative over the external rules of the code. This is the same impulse found in the concept of Bushido, the act of doing what is right, even when no external force is there to monitor you. It is why societies that strive to be perfectly controlled always end up entirely uncontrollable. True sustainability comes from individuals maintaining their internal moral compass against the immense external pressure of a regime. Oppressive systems and digital surveillance will inevitably crash under the weight of their own falsified data. But the human conscience, the simple refusal to lie, outlives them all.